Army Air Force has announced that a flying disc We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast. The German news agency Transocean said today in a broadcast.
Here's another late development, and this news keeps coming in as we're talking here. Here's other information just in from the correspondents traveling with
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Force has announced that a flying disc has
Let's see how far we can get. Let's literally see how far we can get. What's up, everybody? Yo, talk about chain events, right? I ain't seen y'all mother lovers in so long. Moan Zarbon. It's been a minute. It's been 3 weeks since I've been on here, but y'all been getting that daily dose of content. Clap it. The year's almost up, and the promise I made to y'all at the beginning of this year is that I'm gonna post content every single day, and I've managed to keep that promise. So I'm very proud of that. been a struggle. Yeah, it's not easy creating content every single day. As one of my close friends is going to find out very shortly, Jen. I was thoroughly impressed with Jen's setup. Not only does she have more shit than me, she, I totally underestimate, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I know this woman. This woman has prepared for biochem test the day of the test and passed and done better than me when I had a whole week to study. Like, we know she does this. So I was very pleased to see that she wants to get into the podcasting game. Above that though, I've been out of town. A lot has been going on. Went to Afrotech, had so much fun there. You guys have been seeing the videos there, so y'all check out them Afrotech clips. You feel me?
Would you like to answer a question right at this particular time? Would you like to do that?
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more clips coming out about that, so y'all make sure y'all get yourselves ready. All right? Check those out. Share, like, all this good stuff. We got a decent show. A little bit of talking here to do. I think we should get right into it. And by get right into it, I mean get into the things I forgot to tell you guys last week. That's one of my favorite segments. It's a segment of choice, actually. And I see we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. I think we actually might do it in a month. We might be able to do it. I think like a month we average like 100 subscribers with a good video. We'll see. Maybe like January, early January. So, I'm making this video. Clap it up first and foremost. Clap it up. We're here. Let's start the segment properly. Let's start this stuff properly. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Heero. This is the Identity Booth. I always like to make these videos as recaps whenever major things are happening in my life. Got back from Afrotech. That was tons of fun, and then it led straight into Thanksgiving. And one day my sister might watch this, or my sister might never watch this, but I think it's important to give people their flowers when you can. Give people their flowers when you can. I'll make this. I'll send it to her. She'll never watch it, but But if I ever leave this planet, she can't say I didn't give her flowers. This is the second annual Luke and Jonna Thanksgiving. Now as an engaged couple, it was eerily shocking to see how much they've changed in the 1 year. And is it really 1 year? It might be like it might be like 2 or 3 years because of COVID. So it's really like been 3 years since COVID that we were there last. And it's just really not strange in a bad way, but just interesting to see how they've acclimated to each other and how they're gentle with each other, how they move around each other. It was very nice to see. And, just from the outside looking in, we can tell that there's a deep admiration and affection for each other. They're very concerned about each other in nonchalant ways. It's rather adorable. But we made it back to Atlanta. I got there on Wednesday. I had to leave a little bit early because I had some money to make. Afrotech was a gold mine. I made $4,000 at Afrotech. It was great. But things to note. First and foremost, let's just give a clap for Nuffy. Nuffy, let me look into the camera. Nuffy, that motherfucking turkey was delicious. In my life of eating turkey, I've never tasted a better turkey next to my own. Like, that says a lot. And it's a big redemption for her because the first turkey from the first time she did it was trash. I purposely ate an abundance of turkey that day, even though it was bad, just so that there was nothing left and I didn't want her to feel bad. I sacrificed my body for your feelings, and don't you ever forget that. Also, shout out, clap it up to the Cuzzos. Suge Knight and Nini. The pecan cobbler, the peach cobbler, pecan cobbler, and the pecan pie was fantastic. Let me put it like this: no one else got to eat the pecan pie. If you didn't get a piece of it before I left, you didn't get none. Wanna know why? Because I took the whole goddamn pie. And I have no shame. Drop a bomb. Not a piece of shame in my body. If there's pecan cobbler, pecan pie anywhere within the vicinity, it's not gonna make it. There will never be anything left. I will make it my mission to make sure that's a fact. In addition to that, I did fumble. I lost all the family pictures except for the cards that weren't on the encrypted disk. I have an encrypted hard drive that I lost everything on, and an encrypted drive that I had for private customers, specifically for these private customers, and I jagged, and I lost all of that stuff. So that file, you can't put anything new on it unless you unlock it before. I didn't do that. I jagged. So lost all the pictures. In my mind, I was like, fuck it, whatever. I feel like we just took new pictures in July, but it would have been nice to get an upgraded picture. We had Taufik there, Nini there, Jayla, a lot more. It was way more people. It would have been a nice progressive shot to show what it was the first time versus now. It would have just been nice, but now all we got is our memory. I'll do better in the future. Afrotech spoiled me. I went down to Austin, spent a week there, stayed at the W Hotel, and I must say, Chris, the night manager at the W Hotel, fucking phenomenal. He just knew. He knew. He was knowledgeable about the area. He knew where the hood rat shit was. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And whenever I bring a lady back by the room, man, he'll escort her out. It was great. I now understand why I live this isolated lifestyle, because if I was forced to live this bouginess out of me, I'd be a horrible person. I just know I would want to be unbothered with so many things. And this podcast, these drawings, these ambitions I have, I would just live a life of comfort. For what? Why am I doing any of this? Why am I sitting here recording a podcast at 7 o'clock at night when I could be doing a host of other things? Right? But I think this sort of isolation makes me want to work on myself and get out of that bad energy, that low vibration place that you'll fall into if you don't have community. But between that, Atlanta, a little bit of Georgia and shit like that, I desperately need to think about what I want to do as far as community is concerned. I got a community here. It's an hour away. That's fine for me. But is that really gonna suffice? Do I have to get close? Do I have to be 45 minutes away? I'm really an hour and 20 minutes away with no traffic. Hour 40 to get to the crib. So it was a big question for me. But being able to spend time with the family for as short it was, my mom hates it whenever I do this, but I arrive the day before and I leave the day after. I just can't. I'd much rather, because I want to work. I like the work I do. And especially since I know what my New Year's resolution is going to be for next year, which is to publish book 2 and book 3 of the comic book, which is madness, because it took me a year just to publish book 1. So to double down and say I got to publish both of them, A lot of things are going to suffer. And it might be the podcast. It just depends on when we get to that 1,000 mark. But I have to double down to catch up with myself and make sure that I get that up to date, because there's just no excuse. No excuse. And it's free money out there. And I got my boy Tark. He hit me up a few times, so we're going to talk about that. Yeah, you guys are going to see some people on the podcast, because I definitely want to interview people that I met at Afrotech, do a post-op sort of check up on people, and things like that. But overall, Thanksgiving was great. Afrotech was great. I really did dig the vibes of all the situations that I found myself in the last 2 weeks. And even returning back to work was pleasant. You know, it gave me this hunger to come back. And I'll talk more in depth about like the Afrotech experience and do's and don'ts and things I like, but that'll be for another video, a deep dive video for sure. I just want to get this off my chest. How was y'all Thanksgiving? Was your turkey dry? Did you guys get into a fight? Tell me what happened in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Next topic. All right. Can we do it? Can we do it? Keep talking like you want to fight. Keep talking. Hey, clap it up. It's the Booth Boss. Booth Boss was out here, y'all. Let me tell y'all about Keisha real quick. Let me tell you about this stunning woman right here. One, went out and did this crazy athletic, whatever that athletic shit was. Keisha, what was the name of that athletic, that triathlon shit you was doing? What was that triathlon shit you was doing? Went out there with the shorts on, just letting everybody know these thighs save lives. You feel me? So she did that, and then mess around, had the birthday. So clap it up for the happy birthday. Yeah, happy belated birthday. Birthdays before major holidays, kind of hit or miss. Like, you don't know what you want to. Do you celebrate it? Do you just join it all together? It's hit or miss, but my phone has your birthday saved in it, so I knew about it. That's how you know I like you. I got your phone, it got your birthday saved. One, I got your name spelt out. And two, your birthday saved. Because that means at least once a year you're going to hear from your boy. Nah, see, you want to know something? And there's a part of me that feels like I should have forced you to come to Austin, but you was busy. And then when I was leaving Atlanta, I should have probably just. Nah, I had to make money. I ain't even gonna stunt. You got your victory lap if I stayed. Zarbon Moan. You would have got the victory lap with your boy. But yeah. Nah, yeah, oh shit. I have my alarm. I got a few more trips in. It's gonna be probably to this southern part of California. I'll make arrangements as needed. But let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into the things we forgot to tell you last week. I don't know. A lot of this stuff is new, but a lot of stuff is old. I didn't keep up with much of the news. Much of the news was sort of like y'all already know. Wild shit's going on everywhere, right? So let's talk about the one of my favorite things. A new segment. I even have a separate playlist for this now because Kanye West's name just shows up too much in my algorithm. I call this the downfall of Kanye West, formerly now known as Ye. But Kanye West has found himself continuing to fall down this toxic pipeline where, for some reason, he thinks because he's black, he can discriminate against another group of people and then claim that he's doing it all under the will of God. And this is why religion doesn't stick for me. Because when weird people like this start talking, they actually start to garner a cult following. And Kanye West started this, and he quickly got decimated. Whether it's from a financial aspect, a platform aspect, his career, he's never who's ever going to let him go on tour at one of their stadiums? Who's ever going to let him be featured on one of their songs again? Kanye West has made it extremely difficult for him to dig himself out of this hole. And this is why I call this section the downfall. Because I don't think there's any way of him returning. But I just want to document it. So when the time comes for us to look at this critically, we can all say together collectively, nah, fuck him, right? Clap it. Drop a bomb. Fuck him. Go forth and dig your grave. Because you built this, we might have built this tomb together, but you will feel it alone. Right? Kanye has been ordered to pay $240K a month in child support to Kim. Someone said that's almost $2.4 billion annually. Yo, that's wild. That's wild. That is so wild. It's crazy because you just know he's one mistake away. But Kanye West did have a decent Thanksgiving, if it's to be believed. Kanye's Thanksgiving feast with Trump, Mayo, and Nick Fuentes. Now, some of these names look weird to you. Don't stress. We all know who the Orange Oompa Loompa is. But Milo is a certified, not conservative, but fascist, right? Certified fascist groomer of children. He is on record saying he finds nothing wrong with pedophilia. He thinks children who know what their sexual drive is like should be allowed to experience that. He's said that on record. Nick Fuentes is a 24-year-old Hispanic gay man who says conversion therapy saved his life, and now he is a straight-up fascist who's a 24-year-old Mexican. It's just, and when you look at him, you see think of the most cliche racist dad from a 90s sitcom. That's what you see. But Kanye West has found comfort in people who actually despise him. Because there's no way Kanye would ever let Milo around his children, and there's no way Kanye actually thinks Nick Fuentes, a 24-year-old racist fascist, is a cool running mate. And we're going to talk about how Kanye West has become touchable. And that's when you know your downfall is truly started. Let's begin. Trust me, I don't need to buy the rest of the shit. Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure I can. I have a new ad blocker. Let's see if it eliminates it. It does not. It takes away the other part. No, it doesn't take away all of it. All right. While you were carving turkey with your family last night, Kanye West was on Twitter unveiling his 2024 master plan. Thanksgiving night, the rapper posted a video titled Mar-a-Lago Debrief, in which he said Donald Trump was really impressed with Nick Fuentes. Now, Donald Trump stays at Mar-a-Lago, and this states a lot of questions because remember, not too long ago, literally a month ago, there was literally a question of security at Mar-a-Lago as top secret documents were recovered from there in insecure places. So to know that a rampant fascist could walk into Mar-a-Lago, into the deepest chambers, and someone the president doesn't know get that close to him is crazy. It's mind-boggling. But what ended up happening was Kanye West revealed that he's going to be running for president in 2024, and he wants Trump to be his running mate. And the clash of egos that took place in that room, I just wanted to be a fly on the fucking wall. In fact, I would have just wanted to be a fax machine, because you know Donald Trump's the type of motherfucker that says, "Can we fax this? Can we fax this? Well, I don't want to email. I don't like the. Let's fax it." You know he was just a motherfucker out here saying he wanted to fax some shit. And he told Donald Trump, like, "Yo, I want you to be my running mate." Not even acknowledging that Donald Trump has already won once. So what the fuck are you going to do for him? Furthermore, this clearly upset Trump to the extent where he was insulting Kanye's wife based on Kanye West's description. It's really weird sometimes because Kanye West will sometimes stand up for Kim, but then other times he'll be the one literally insulting her. It's like he doesn't want anyone to have anything to do with her. And if for all you that think that he wouldn't have gone up and slapped Chris Rock if he was in Will Smith's shoes, you're dead wrong. I wanted to see Trump's face when he said that. Probably laughed in his face. Yo, you know Trump took it serious though. Trump had to have taken that shit serious. He had to have been upset. He had been like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You want me to be a second place to a black man? I mean, a rapper. I mean, a fascist, anti-Semitic. No, I mean, he just started laughing away. But people would still face their votes. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But the thing that really won Trump over was the Nick Fuentes character, who openly said he enjoys Trump at his earnest and off the cuff. When Trump has to read from teleprompters, he feels like he's not being genuine and authentic and tells Trump that's why he lost. And based on conversations that took place within that dining hall, Trump admired the young 24-year-old Nick Fuentes for recognizing that in Trump. Now, keep in mind, it is established. It's not like it's up for debate. He literally runs a podcast, and there's literally clips of him on the internet saying openly, "Hey, I think white people should run things. I think women shouldn't have a right to vote. I think you should remove contraceptive, and women should just be forced to have kids and not be in the workforce." He's a fascist bigot through and through. And for Trump to come out and say after the dinner broke, "Oh, I didn't know who he was," and not be able to say, "And I also condemn what he stands for," is weird, because the Republican Party, the unfringed part of it, was able to say that. From Michael McCarthy to the fucking racist turtle himself, all the way down to Mike Pence, who took 6 months for him to say, "Hey, Trump, you sending that mob of angry people to come lynch me? That was wrong." It took Mike Pence 6 months to do that. But Mike Pence came out next day later and was like, "Yo, fascist, no go. No go." What up? What up, Kenny? Clap it up. What up, baby? So we got we have you would think, okay, you did that shit, that's dumb. Let's not let this get out of hand, right? No. Because even with this dramatic fall from grace, Kanye West wants to continue to see who will let him spew his hate. And something that just needs to be said: why is Kanye West going on these other people's podcasts? Why doesn't he just make his own and say whatever the fuck he wants? Like, why does he feel the need to go to these other places and have these debates. He's Kanye West. He could do it on Twitter. Twitter has a live feed function. He'll definitely get thrown off of like YouTube and Facebook, but he could do this on Twitter. His homeboy Elon Musk runs that shit. They just need to take the mic from him. But as long as he's willing to keep picking that shit up, I hope he chokes on that shit. Because I want you to remember, his words have consequences. And there's a group of hotep black men and women who honestly believe what Kanye West is doing is right. He mentioned Kyrie's name in this story, and collectively everyone put their hands up and said, "See? You see, Kyrie? This is why when you post shit like that on your platform, it's problematic, because then a psychopath will attribute his actions to you, and now you got to hold that." So for everyone that was saying, "Oh, they're making Kyrie do too much. They're making Kanye West literally said, I feel bad for my brother Kyrie, and I think he should have been allowed to do what he does." And immediately everyone was like, "Oh, shit. That's why we don't let people just say whatever the fuck they want. That's why we don't let people just post not without context, ambiguous post about anti-Semitic, Holocaust denying bullshit. That's why we don't let that shit happen, Kyrie." And it's kind of hard to believe you didn't see that coming with that third eye of yours. Baffling. Yee, tell me something interesting.
Just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This is something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like,
Kanye West believes because he has only seen one thing, it has to be true. This is the equivalent of I've never seen a humpback whale in person. But I think the pictures, the video footage, and the story about Pinocchio is more than enough for me to believe that those motherfuckers are real. I have to believe those motherfuckers are real. This like Kanye West doesn't even understand that what he's saying is a white supremacist talking point. The police have never pulled me out of my car and brutalized me, so I don't believe that someone put a knee on a black man's neck for 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Sorry, 46.
it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
elaborate. What do you mean? You mean?
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, you know, like the document.
Kanye West has never left the country to go experience his bloodlines. Kanye West he's never pulled an Akon. He's never gone to Africa. He's never gone there to explore his bloodlines. It'd be the same Israelite motherfuckers saying they from Israel. They're from Israel. You only go to vacation to the South Americas. And when you go to South America, you don't stay amongst the people. Where's that saying? Do I have that saying? Oh, you guys are in trouble if I have that saying. Oh, y'all motherfuckers lucky. I'm going to make that saying. The people. It's only when they don't go and stay amongst the people. They go and stay at the resort. Sandals. They don't even stay at a good one. Cheap ass.
Documentary that Kyrie posted. And in general, America,
did you hear that?
About our bloodlines, you know, like the documentary that Kyrie posted. And
You see, Kyrie? Look at what you've done to yourself. Now this maniac is using your fucking name.
And in general, America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you know, you said debanked or
He's so lost. So lost.
What did you say happened to you? Or
Demonetized, deplatformed.
demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening. And now we can really understand. We can see that Ron Emanuel was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump. Ta-da!
But so we're getting right into it, I guess, right? I was hoping to go for the news first before we got into all of this stuff. I think the issue is one way to put it is you're expounding upon.
And I'm assuming the catch here is that Rahm Emanuel and Jared Kushner are both Jewish. So he's saying basically everywhere you go, everywhere you've been, there's a Jewish person next to like behind every good man, there's a Jewish person. Like, that's what he's implying. It's so weird to hear him like be coy around this. Like, if you're gonna be a bigot, be a bigot.
A localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify. There are a handful of people that you see are Jewish in a certain place, and then you associate Judaism with the power, whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like, yeah, you're substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of black people.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the basis of the hypocrisy that people.
No, don't keep your mouth shut, Kenny. Spit your lip.
And realizing for decades, we were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering, what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why can people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture. Well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it.
In other words, everyone now knows for.
The thing that's weird about this is that Tim Pool, the maggot that he is, he didn't have to do this. Tim Pool didn't have to do this. But admittedly, Tim Pool understands he'd much rather have views than responsibility. Because remember, he said in that segment, I don't see a group of people who are inclined to be around a certain type of business to be responsible for all of that business. And referring, just because you see a bunch of Jewish people working in a bank doesn't mean that Jewish people run all the banks. But when that Pulse nightclub shooting took place, he blamed the LGBTQ community for that because they were grooming people. Keep in mind, Milo, that man on his podcast, is a known pedophile sympathizer. It's so weird to see how these double standards keep catching up with people. It's crazy. It's crazy, the hypocrisy. But let's talk more.
Of course, his political opinions were on the exact opposite side of everyone at that table.
Like, okay, so would this be tax evasion? Because I'm obviously not the most financially literate person on the planet. I was just a child.
And this is the problem with Kanye. He doesn't understand that his inadequacies in other places exist in other aspects. Not only is he not good with his money based on the way he's been dealing with himself financially, he's clearly not good with his mental health. But he refuses to get help for any of them, so it's just a matter of time. Like, I'm here to tell you, there's only one way this ends. There's only one way this ends for Kanye. And based on what he's about to tell us, it might be tax evasion.
Child, basically, like when you become famous, you stop growing at that point. I became famous at age 24, and I had handlers around. I had my mom around, different things. And it was always like you go from one handler to the next handler to the next handler. So now I'm having, I get to actually learn how to run a company. I get to learn how to.
Imagine learning how to run a company and immediately you lose your billion-dollar status because you're so bad at it.
To count. Really, I was like Pablo in a movie. It was like I didn't even know where to put the money. Like literally making $300 million cash, but you're just like a high-priced. We're not going to use the S word just because it's like too passe to use it. But it's like next year I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties, and like no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor. We won't say what race. And
he thinks he's so clever. He's a bumbling idiot. But it's funny you mentioned Jay-Z. Let's get to the clip that made him get up. Now, once again, Tim Pool is gutter trash. And this light pushback on Kanye West's belief that Jewish people run everything and therefore Jewish people are responsible for ruining his life. Listen to this exchange and tell me, was that enough to warrant this?
Who was they, though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them, though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it.
That person.
2018.
That person is 24 years old.
About it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone.
Who was they, though?
So, just because Tim Pool didn't want to be as fascist and anti-Semitic as Kanye West was being, he said, and I can't be here. And when your immediate reaction is to get up and leave, when the lightest pushbacks happens, it makes you want to say, maybe he shouldn't have been a college dropout. Maybe you should have stayed in school, my guy. Because you would have learned history. And history would have at least taught you what the fuck you're doing is batshit crazy. Yo, Joe, you were funny as hell. Jay-Z cut that relationship for a reason. You're right. And now, and I just want to, and know, I'm happy you brought it up because I want to express something right now. The circle of friends you keep dictate your livelihood's wealth. I have a lot of wealth in my life. And people think it's because I grind, I have a nice job, I'm fiscally responsible. No, it's because I have better people around me. Everyone I know, that I ask for financial advice, make hundreds of thousands of more dollars than I do. And I make hundreds of thousands of more dollars than the average person. Right? That's what makes me special. People ask me that question all the time. How do you do it? I keep better people around me. And I'm selective about them. I treat those people extremely well. Those people get the most out of me because I understand where my bread is buttered. Kanye West had the bread and butter, the jam. Toasted, motherfucker. This was your brother, and he forgave you, and he put you on the map. But now, no. Now you're touchable, Kanye West. That was you getting your first Grammy Award on the stage with one of the greatest megastars, and now you're sitting there next to a 24-year-old anti-Semitic racist dude at a hibachi grill with your waiter wearing pointed boots, a book bag in the front, and just look at you. You're touchable. You are, like, people can, that is not a Bugatti behind you. That is not a security guard. There's no paparazzi around. You are touchable. And in this moment, as it let it bask in this moment. This picture solidifies that you were wrong in every aspect of the question. Because everything you claim to be fighting for, none of it can be viewed in your picture. This person isn't even a fan. They just want to be able to say they took a picture with you. It's the equivalent of when I think this shit was hilarious. But I was like at an airport or something like that. And there was like a famous like wrestler or something like that walking in the airport. And we were both standing there, and there was a kid who frantically walked up to this. Not even a kid. He had to have been like college age. He had like a neck beard and everything. And he walked up to the superstar, said, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" Asked me to take a picture for them. Took the picture, no problem. And the kid turned around to me and said, "Don't you want a picture too?" And I looked at him and I said, "Oh no, I'm fine, thank you." To the dismay of the wrestler, who was like, "Oh, come on, man, I'm so-and-so." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know you paid my bills. I paid for my fucking meal and I got out of line." And it was just the audacity of this asswipe who thought because he was a wrestler on WWE or whatever the fuck the show is now, you're not The Rock. You're not even Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're not even the Nature Boy. Woo! Woo! Randy Savage. What about Randy Savage?
I beg your pardon?
Nobody said life was easy,
Yeah.
so if
I
you get
beg
knocked
your
down,
pardon?
take the standing 8 count, get back up, and fight again. And you're a macho maniac. Take it.
All my heroes are dead. And if they're alive, they gonna ride. But this right here embodies everything, and it's just a very humbling picture. Your boy, Yeezy, formerly known as Kanye West, a.k.a. Ye, with the pointed motherfucking boots. Yeah, I stand this. I'll continue to document the end of his fall, and like I said, there's only one way this ends. But we'll see what happens. Do y'all honestly believe there's salvation for him? Do you think he can ever return from this? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't think so. He fell through before the pen. Them steppers for real. It's the secret racists that love the BBC films. What? Nah, you're right. He really just doesn't want help. Oh wait, this page didn't load. All right, let's clap. Let's get into it. They'll either be dead or off the grid in 5 years, honestly. Yo, Joe, I see that. He looks like he has gas. All right. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? My name is Heero. This is that dating booth. Hey, if you don't mind, like, share, subscribe. Goes a long way. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all see that? 872. We're about to hit 900. Remember the good old days when we were like at 300? Wow, time flies. I want to talk about Mark Cuban. Not only because he was at Afrotech this year. Clap it up. Where's my clap button? There we go. And he was talking about, the importance of innovation in tech, and sort of like he gave the speech like when black people are given the opportunity to truly express themselves in our society, the society improves greatly. He talks about these great inventors that come from the black community and how when black people were introduced to NASA, we won the race to the moon or whatever the hell we were racing for back then. And when black people were allowed to take part in our social engineering, the union busting and all of that stuff went away because they had the black vote to help keep unions together. So I found his speech to be riveting. Also very satisfying to hear someone outside of the black community speak about the wanting and needing black people in business, especially when it's a person who of Mark Cuban's stature, who has a known track record for looking out for people in a lot of communities. And one community he's taken a vested interest in, and enough to lose money in, is the pharmaceutical company. Now, the pharmaceutical company ain't no motherfucking joke. As a person who works in oncology, I could tell you, these motherfuckers don't play. The amount of money they use is both baffling and promising to see. But there are certain things that just should not cost what they cost. The fact that insulin cost is so expensive, and that our congressional government, our Senate and our House, couldn't agree to make it to stop price gouging of a disease that is I believe it's the number two disease in the country. No, it can't be number 2. Diabetes. But I know it's up there. Somebody give me the stats on that? It's up there. And when the creator of insulin died, he sold it off. He sold it off to a company, informing them that he's giving it to them for $1 so that they could mass produce it for everyone else. They patent that shit and and now charge $300 for it. So it's crazy that it took this billionaire to do this. And I don't understand what his reasoning is behind it. The store has gotten magnificent reviews, and basically what they do is take these generic versions of these drugs from out of the country, and they kind of just third party. He's the middleman. He's the middleman. He's like the Amazon of the pharmaceutical company. And I've tested this. I've tested this with my own medication. I've tested this with other people's medication, and it's fascinating, the results. The drugs and the consistency are equivalent in my eyes. But I wanted to know more, and I also wanted to give him a platform to talk about it. So let's hear from the horse's mouth.
One is with healthcare. And so probably 2017, when there was a lot of discussion when the Republicans got into the White House about getting rid of the ACA.
Thanks, Keisha.
There was a big question mark about what would replace it. And so I was talking with various people in the administration, and they were like, well, if you have any ideas, let us know. And so I started looking at, what could be created to replace the ACA. So I started funding these studies with various economists to just look at.
And keep in mind, this is such a brilliant statement. During the transition of the Obama administration to the Trump administration, the primary focus was to get rid of the ACA, the Obamacare. And that's when his mind triggered to say, there's going to be hundreds of thousands, dare I say millions of people who will not have health care. How can I help? I don't know if Mark Cuban has any skeletons in his past, but if I'm just judging him off this moment, his mantra, his aura, his legacy excels way above people that will have way more money and can do way more than he can. But he's doing what he can with what he got. So even though I think Luka Doncic is a bitch, I'll cheer for him on Friday. Clap it. I'm not beyond reproach. I'm not beyond reproach.
At what are the underlying costs of healthcare? And around the same time, I got a cold email from Dr. Alex Oshmayansky. And he was telling me about the compounding pharmacy he was creating in Denver that was looking for funding to be able to create drugs to handle shortages of drugs. So very often drugs, even generic drugs, go in short supply, and when that happens, either somebody jacks up the price or it just is not available or very difficult to get. And so as we were going back and forth via email, I started asking questions, well, why stop here? And, you know, that was when Martin Shkreli was doing his thing and he was going to jail. And I was like, well, if this idiot can jack up prices 1,500% or whatever it was for Daraprim, that means there's fungibility in the pricing. There must be an opportunity to reduce the cost as well. Can we look at that? And so that's where we started the process of working together to say, okay, what are all the regulatory issues? What are all the pharmacy issues? All the things that, all the I's you have to, the dot and T's you have to cross just to be in this business. And that took about 3 years. And we finally got to the point where it was, okay, let's start working with a drug called albendazole, where we had somebody manufacture it for us. And what albendazole is a drug for hookworm, for parasitics. And it's still a problem in rural areas of Alabama and Texas, South Carolina, and other places across the country. And it costs $200 per course. And I was like, well, if we manufacture it or have somebody manufacture it for us, what could we sell it for? And he was like, $12. Like, okay, that's an indication that maybe there's something that we can change here.
And there's going to be a reckoning. And most people think like the reckoning is going to come from voting rights, racism, like civil rights. I think it's going to come down to either health or clean drinking water. The moment people can't afford to stay alive, you're going to have a reckoning. Because to see that some medicine costs $25,000, Kenny, that shit is wild. But I don't even know. I saw a post the other day on TikTok and it made perfect sense. A lady, they were like at a radiology. Hey, radiology is so much fun. Come on down. Like, this is how cool our system is. We hit a pin. We hit something on a bunch of apples and put them in our MRI machine and look, we can pinpoint with exact accuracy without ever seeing how many apples there are and know which apple is holding it. And it literally smash cut to a lady showing her full bill on the thing from that same radiology department and saying, I have a bill for an x-ray for $9,000 from this clinic because my insurance wouldn't cover it because they said my broken ankle didn't need an x-ray. And that's just the TikTok. It's an unfathomable amount of greed that is suffocating this country, especially for healthcare.
And so we went through the process, working with Baylor School of Medicine and I think it was their health sciences group, and had somebody manufacture it for us, went through the whole FDA approval process, worked with a bunch of clinics where we provided to them a cost and then started selling it as a cost plus drugs branded drug. And we learned some things there and said, okay, now it's time to expand. Can we go and work with a bunch of generic manufacturers to offer as many drugs?
I would love to work under
him
and learn the way his mind works.
Drugs. We partnered with a company called TruePill, who's been great to work with, where they help provide software and build the website and all that, and became our dispensing pharmacy. And that shortcutted a lot of the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And in January of 2022, this year, we launched our website and started shipping about 110 drugs. And from there, we've grown to probably 900, by the time people see this, 950 of the top 1,000 generic drugs that are available that we're offering on cost plus drugs.
Mm-hmm. And you have about 1 million people on board already.
Yeah, so we're adding anywhere on a weekend, well, now it's changing by the day, but let's just say 5,000 to 10,000 people per day. And that number is going up like this. All our numbers are going up like this, like a hockey stick. It's incredible.
I don't think a lot of people know that this is something that you've been working on quietly for years now.
Yeah.
It just kind of popped up.
No, it didn't just, okay, let's just launch our website. Because you've got to get, before a drug manufacturer, whether it's generics or brand, is going to work with you, they have to trust you. And they have to believe you're not going to screw up their business and you're going to create more demand and you're going to take care of patients and do it the right way.
The only thing that's kind of concerning about this process that he's doing is it sustainable? That's a big question because he's operating at a loss right now. So when and where would he make the money to offset this? And I guess the thing that I'm thinking about is he's making these pills at cost price and selling them only, I think, at a 15% hike. A 15% hike isn't enough to sustain a business in this capitalistic system. So what is his game plan here? Does he plan to offset it with his own wealth? Does he plan to outsource this? It's troubling to see this, but I want to keep an eye on this. I will applaud him for the effort. It goes without saying, it's a strong effort. What do you guys think about this? Like, what do you think the catch is? While there's none to be visible right now, you know it's coming. But kudos to Mark Cuban, and keep up the good work, bruh. Luka ain't a bitch. I promise you. He's cool. He's cool. He's cool. All right. So if you live, let's clap. Let's get into it. Next topic. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. I think the thing that's going to push people to the brink of fighting the government is either going to be healthcare or clean drinking water. And once clean drinking water or healthcare becomes so big of an issue that people are struggling to survive, we will turn and eat our leaders. And, fuck them. Recently, Houston boil water notice. Put your address in to see if you're affected, plus how to get alerted when it's lifted. Houston Public Works has a new map to check your location if you're affected by the boil water notice. You can also sign up for alerts to be notified when it's lifted. So what happened? Basically, the Texas power grid, the Texas power grid, which runs independent of the national power grid, lost sufficient power and ability to maintain the pressure at the water facility plant. Therefore, that loss of pressure caused there to be a backflow. That backflow contaminated the reservoirs and the filters, and to change them all out is a cumbersome process. But currently, Houston is under a boiled water notice, and you can't drink it, you can't bathe in it, you can't cook with it. They said don't even wash your clothes with it. So what the fuck is it used for?
Affected by this boil water notice. In order to find out when it's lifted, you actually need to sign up for city alerts. You can do that by logging on to houstonemergency.org/alerts.
From there, follow the instructions to create an account if you do not have one. Once there, go to sign up for Alert Houston and then click register. You can then get specific on how you want to be notified via text, voicemail, email, or all three. The city.
Houston, since boil water notice was put into effect Sunday night, many of you have been contacting us, asking us if your house is on the map, boil water, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into the facts of it.
To people in the city of Houston, certainly apologize for the disruptions.
The city of Houston under a boil water notice. Mayor Turner says he considers the water supply safe and says issuing the notice was done out of an abundance of caution. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ron Trevino in for Sherman Chow. We're getting new details on the failure at a water treatment plant that led to the citywide boil water notice. Schools and businesses closed today as a result. The advisory came last night about 8 hours after the pressure dipped, exposing water across the city to possible bacteria. Our team coverage begins with Jason Miles, who's live downtown where the mayor just gave an update on this advisory.
His face doesn't match his voice, but okay.
Hey there, Ron. Yeah, the bottom line is that boil water notice remains in effect, and the mayor says the first read, so to speak, that may lead to that notice being lifted won't come until around 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meantime, he says a full diagnostic review will be conducted to figure out exactly what happened. And
That
make
would have been
sure, of
today, and
course,
it was not
doesn't
lifted
happen
today.
again. That
It was
boil
not
water
lifted
notice
today.
instituted at 6:47 last night in consultation with TCEQ, despite concerns, the city says, that enough
And when people ask me
triggers
why come I'm
have
not
been
moving back
tripped
to Texas, it's
require a
because
notice
of
in the
shit
first
like
place.
this.
Again, that's why the mayor says it was done out of an abundance of caution. The main
I'm not moving back because of shit like this. Because, like, how can a major city, one of the biggest, the 5th biggest city in America, the 2nd biggest city in the state, or the 1st biggest city in the state, not have clean drinking water? It's unfathomable to me that there is a drinking water crisis in America. But that is part of the course of America. As great as our drinking systems are, when they're working, they're properly funded, and they're used, they're amazing. But a lot of people tend to constantly forget why these issues are happening. And if you ever have any doubt why public facilities fail people in times of need, it's because back in the day, a bunch of racist assholes couldn't stand sharing with black people. Clap it. Don't argue with me. Argue with your grandpappy, especially if he was white, because he's the reason why this shit is happening. He was there. Go ask him. Your great-great-grandpappy, maybe. That's one great. It's his fault. Because they didn't do what they were supposed to do back. And just so we're clear, they would burn down Ferris wheels, put cement in fucking pools in an effort to not share things that everyone's tax dollars are paying for, but they didn't want to share. And these water facility plants and things like this suffer because Houston, which has a disproportionate amount of people of color staying there, doesn't get the same love as the outer bounds of the city do, right? But this isn't just the first example. There's many of them. Millions of Americans drink potentially unsafe tap water. How does your county stack up? Tainted tap water isn't just a problem in Flint, Michigan. It's given in any given year from 1982 to 2015, somewhere between 9 million to 45 million Americans got their drinking water from a source that was in violation of Safe Drinking Water Act, according to a new study. Most at-risk people who live in rural, low-income areas. This is very important. Low-income areas. Low-income area speaks of Jackson, Mississippi. EPA determines water in Jackson, Mississippi is safe to drink 2 months after treatment plant fails.
E is for egg.
Charles Wilson III is a single dad who wants nothing more than to protect his children. He helps with homework and takes part in playtime.
A bear. I love him to death.
He never thought the biggest danger to his little boy would be the tap water flowing through the pipes of his hometown, Jackson, Mississippi. Can you drink out of the water fountain in school?
No, I will die.
A 6-year-old worrying about death over the government's failure.
That's wild. That's low-key kind of wild. Like, that's an audio clip, man. Man, this country's fucked.
To ensure safe drinking water.
I mean, do you have a heart? What God you serve? It's an insult. The capital city of the state of Mississippi. And this is what we go through.
You don't have clean drinking water?
No.
Wilson uses bottled water for drinking and boils water every day, multiple times a day for everything else. This time it was a flood that took out the water treatment plant where pumps had already been failing, leaving 150,000 plus residents without safe drinking water. Do you remember when the water seemed to go bad here in Jackson?
Well, really about 10, 12 years maybe in that area.
More than a decade.
Yeah, it's really got worse.
But families in Jackson say the water crisis in the capital city of Mississippi started long before the emergency that got the country's attention. Even the new head of the Environmental Protection Agency knows that.
Just this year alone, we're going to make over $10 billion available for investments in clean water.
It sounds like an emergency, like the National Guard should be in here, like the Army Corps of Engineers should be in here, that everyone should be trying to make sure that the kids of this community have drinking water. Where is everybody?
You know, we're here now. I think you've seen a federal, state, and local presence here.
Remember, this is Jackson, Mississippi. The same Jackson, Mississippi where Brent Favre, the governor, and the mayor, the previous governor, colluded to send $5 million to Brent Favre's daughter's volleyball school. The Jackson, Mississippi is black. That's why no one cares. It's not a coincidence. Houston, people of color, disproportionate. The study, rural areas, people of low income, disproportionate areas. And even with the EPA saying that there's $10 billion available, do you really want to spend that, and this is the catch-22, do you spend that money on a government, on a state that refuses to repair its own items? Do you let the people suffer because the people who run the government don't want to see those people prosper? That's why the federal government stands to lose a lot of favor here, because no matter how much money they dump into this situation, this state will be red for the remainder of its days. I can't think of a day in my lifetime Mississippi turns purple.
Here, the last time I visited Jackson, the community members said, we don't want any more finger pointing. We just want our government to work.
People are waiting for that tap water to be clean and safe. How long do they have to wait to have clean drinking water?
The honest answer is we didn't get into this situation overnight. We're not going to get out overnight, but we're working around the clock as quickly as possible to provide some stability to the system. That, again, is why this administration fought so hard for the bipartisan infrastructure law, and that $50 billion historic investment, it will go a long way in rebuilding the infrastructure.
They talking about $50 billion. How far can that go? $10 billion is being used to fix the fucking pipes in Mississippi. That's 1/5 of that money. What? And I wonder if they know that, there are intelligent people that are listening to this. Who are you? You can only, based on your calculations, you can only help 5 cities. I've already named 2 cities. That's wild. But, they said 2 months after the treatment failure plant, it's safe to drink the water. You believe that? This is from the EPA, United States Environmental Protection Agency. Flint drinking water response. EPA continues to oversee the state and city actions to protect the public. Since 2016, compliance with the emergency emissions order amendments to ensure Flint's drinking water continues to improve. City effort, long-term drinking water sources, replacement, lead to lead line updates on the city Michigan Lake Water, Lake Michigan Energy, and formerly known as the Environmental Quality, can be found at their website. Data from EPA, MDEQ, Virginia Tech, and other demonstrate significant progress. Lead levels have substantially decreased and continue to improve the protective coating of the pipes. But even to this day, you cannot drink Flint, Michigan water without boiling it. You just can't. So this problem from 2016, back when Obama was in office, this was an issue then. It's an issue now. It's an issue for other places. And it begs the question, What are you drinking? What's in your water? Because if it's anything like this, it's probably not safe. And I feel like it's totally free for you to request a testing kit from your municipality to request to test your water. And I think everyone should do it because what you cook, bathe, brush your teeth with, wash your face with, wipe your ass with, it needs to be cleaner than the shit that we've learned about today. $100 million to fix they shit. That's wild. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. Clap it. Let me know. Black Friday, y'all. Let's talk about Black Friday. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Heero. This is Identity Booth. Traditionally, Black Friday for me and Cyber Monday are big events. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I know where all the things that I want, where they're going to be, where they're listed, how many they have in stock. I know. And with my prestigious physique, I will bum rush the front doors of any store, and I'm more athletic, faster, bigger, stronger than everybody else and anybody else. I can get to that TV before you all do. That 70 inch sitting in my living room, I got that after high stepping on an old lady, and I do it again. Aww. You hear me? Grandma, I don't know what the hell you thought you had going for yourself, but there's no way in hell you should have been in that line. Furthermore, there's no way in hell you was going to take that TV over me. I stiff-armed you to the ground. I did it with a smile on my face. But nonetheless, this year, Black Friday was a bust for me. I did not care. I didn't care even a little bit. I want a PlayStation 5. I want a brand new camera. And I wanted to buy a new mic. And all of those things became meh to me because of two things. One, the economy's in a downturn. I took some money out of my stock portfolio, not out of my stock portfolio, but out of my bank. And they had to stop me and say, hey, what you doing with all this money? Where you going? Can't be taking all this money without telling us. But the truth is, people are concerned all around. The economy's not in a good place. People feel inflation continues to go up, and our paychecks do not reflect that. I can't wait to contract negotiations for next year. I'm about to break my foot off in their ass because if they don't give me a yes, I've been to Afrotech, baby. I know who's going to give me a yes. I know who's going to give me a yes. So everyone's worried about that. But what was Black Friday like for the rest of the world?
We didn't see lines off the top, really. Anything picked up at this point?
Clay, good morning to you. I'm so pumped right now because for the first time in 2.5 hours, we have a line. It's not big, but there are people waiting. And what I can tell you is it's a steady stream of people in and out of Best Buy right here in North Olmsted. This isn't like the 90s, early 2000s Black.
This is, one, who buys anything from Best Buy? Isn't Best Buy like a place where people return their broken shit?
Friday, where people are like throwing elbows over Furbies and fighting over Cabbage Patch Kids. No hair pulling over the Tickle Me Elmo. It's a good change of pace. But what we are seeing, hot deals like this. The Lenovo Chromebook, which I apologize to the Best Buy staff, just broke the price tag off of the shelf.
Exactly.
$99. Look at that. This is why so many people are coming out, because you can get the steals and deals and you get to see it all in person. And what some of these hot ticket items include, of course, the laptops, the Chrome.
It's the fucking motion sickness. Like he didn't have a steady cam. Why is he bouncing all over the place?
The iPads, the iPhones. But in addition to that, why we've seen so many people in particular right before 5 o'clock this morning when they opened their doors, everybody wanted those PlayStation 5s. There's a supply chain issue, and over the last 2 years, so many people struggled to get these PS5s. So they came here in person to pick up, and I want to try to interrupt this sale. Mom and daughter, I know you guys are in the middle of this. Why did you guys come out? You said Olmsted Falls, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Tell me about why your daughter and you came out this morning.
She is looking for a MacBook Air.
Okay, that's fancy. That's an expense.
That's cringe. I don't care. The vast majority of shoppers came seeking smart TVs, laptops, tablets, gaming systems, air fryers, and electrical scooters. Interesting. But based on the economic data...
Oh, that's awesome.
Based on the economic data that we got back, this Black Friday was below average, one of the lowest ones since the 1980s. And once again, it's about confidence in the market. People are rather save money. People are giving money as gifts. We live in a society where if you have one medical emergency and your insurance isn't covering 60% of it, you could be in the toilet for $12,000. Now, I am happy to say that I have $12,000, but I'm happy to say I have $12,000 because I would have to lose everything. Like, I would need to keep, as soon as I pay for this shit, I would need to go back to work as soon as I'm done paying for it. And if something like that happened to me, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be out for a month. So my life is relatively over. I think people should be able to have accidents and not go bankrupt, right? So Black Friday was a bust. And you could tell by this, the sheer ability of this anchorman to walk around the store and you set up skits with random people wearing PJs, and I think she has like the Nirvana shirt. So these are cool. This is a cool mom. Clap it up for the cool mom. You know what? I fucks with moms like this. You can tell like she makes cookies and everything for her class. It's great. You can tell. She's a cool mom. She'll have snacks for you after the game. But if there was anything that did save Black Friday and probably the holiday season, it was Cyber Monday, which broke the record for the biggest online shopping day of all time. More people bought things on their phone than that was even fathomable. $10.7 billion was last year's event. This year, they blew it out of the water with $11.3 billion. When Cyber Monday first became a thing almost 2 decades ago, the concept of remote and hybrid work was stuff of dreams for many workers commuting 5 days a week to the office. Now, emerging weekly patterns of when people work in office and at home could be the boost for realtors eyeing Cyber Monday profits. And that's a great point, right? Because more people work from home, Cyber Monday obviously makes more sense. If you are looking at Black Friday, really Black Friday started the week before Friday. It was a week-long event. So every day you go out, you kind of scope something out. You see something that you like, you go and get it. Makes sense. And that's because the middle of the week has shaped up as a time when more white-collar workers come to their office. Meanwhile, office attendees on Friday and Monday tend to be softer, which could have allowed people to pursue Cyber Monday deals in lulls between calls, assignments, or when they'd otherwise be commuting. Very valid point. I love that analysis. That's a great point. For me, all right, Keisha, take care. For me, I think I don't know, like maybe because I spent all this money this past week on all this other stuff, but it's just not high priority for me, right? It isn't high priority for me to go shopping. I didn't feel like I was in the mood, and I have the money. I was just like, why am I gonna buy a PlayStation 5? There's not even 5 good games for it. Call of Duty I can play on my PlayStation 4. I'm not really big on the God of War series. I like watching people play it, but not for me. So PS5 doesn't intrigue me. getting Miles Morales. I'll just wait. I'll get the bundle with the remastered for all 3 of them on when it comes out for the PlayStation 5. When the new one, Part 2, comes out for PlayStation 5. That's what I'll do. But yeah, let me know what y'all got. Make me jealous in the comment section below. Narado. Whew. My goodness. Teen. All right, hey, clap it up. I think I'm going to cover this story every Thanksgiving to the day I die. Teen who met grandma from accidentally text shares Thanksgiving plans after COVID loss. So, for all y'all that don't know, let's revisit the story. This teen, I think his name, what's his name? Jamal Hilton. Jamal Hilton gets a text from this lady, who's known as Grandma. From Grandma, and this is literally the text that started it all. Thanksgiving dinners at my house. November 24th at 3 p.m. Let me know if you are coming. Hope to see you all. Of course, that includes Amanda and Justin. Who is those? Your grandma. Grandma, can I have a picture? Of who? You. And she actually sends the picture. Yes, here I am at work. This is so funny. You're not my grandma. Can I still get a plate, though? Of course you can. That's what grandmas do, feed everyone. And that's just, hey, clap that shit. That's just such a, that is what I thought the internet would be about. Just fucking puppies and fucking housewives. Maybe it is. And I just choose to focus on the bad shit. But this is what my internet looks like. And even throughout COVID and everything, they still managed to keep close ties and keep up with each other.
4 years of laughing.
Yeah, old people do that.
Love, and most importantly,
well, I'm gonna keep this. Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, you're
it will
very
be in my
welcome.
apartment.
All right.
unexpected and unconditional friendship, now preserved in a scrapbook of their own.
I just feel my life has been enriched since he's come into it.
Wanda and Jamal are now a household name across the nation, all because Wanda accidentally texted him instead of her real grandson 4 years ago.
The question I have is, who is the real grandson? Whatever happened to the real, has Jamal literally replaced her grandson? Because in the time it's taken, talk about villain origin story. Could you imagine you were getting prepared for Thanksgiving, mom's spaghetti, hands are sweaty, and you're waiting for that text to come over for Thanksgiving. But because grandma texted the wrong motherfucker, now you didn't get a plate. And not only did you not get a plate, you didn't get remembered. And on Thanksgiving night, you spent the night alone, hungry, cold. Villain origin story waiting to happen. Who's her grandson? We need eyes on him.
Text exchange went viral.
Well, I got 600 text messages that night because he didn't block my phone number off of Twitter.
But no hard feelings.
This whole book is yours.
Yes.
Of course.
Because it was the best thing that could have happened.
Yes.
Strangers starting a new tradition. Now anything but strangers at all. And while that first year doesn't feel like so long ago, so much has changed since. Jamal met his girlfriend, and she's been at the last 3 Thanksgiving gatherings.
We actually just moved into our first apartment yesterday.
And Wanda was a grandma before, but now she has a new title.
I actually have 2 great-grandchildren. That's pretty awesome.
Time has changed technology too.
Having to help her with every single thing that she needs with her phone. Like, I literally had to hook up her and her husband's phone like 6 months ago because they didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, we had new phones.
Their selfies now taken in portrait mode, something they didn't have years ago. And Jamal kept his promise from last year. He and his girlfriend's family cooking this Thanksgiving, so Wanda didn't have to.
Yes, that's the best.
Things change.
That was the best.
It was a great day.
The years pass. But the longer time goes on, the closer this modern family gets. In Mesa, Brianna Whitney.
It's fucking heartwarming. But then you fast forward, COVID and all, the origin story. Now these motherfuckers are business partners. This shit. I love to hate this, and I hate to love this. I'm so conflicted, but I love it. They went out and made a business. From strangers to business partners, Jamal Hilton launched his company with woman who mistakenly invited him to Thanksgiving 7 years ago. 2 individuals who were once strangers sitting at Thanksgiving table by accident have recently launched a business together. This Thanksgiving, Jamal Hilton announced, in addition to his entrepreneurial journey that involved Wanda Dench, the 2 have officially become business partners, creating Black MP, a company that sells alkaline water infused with soil-based probiotics. Is that sea moss, my brother? Is that sea moss, my brother? Well, damn. As previously reported in Black Entertainment, the 2 met in 2016 after Dench, a grandmother mistake, blah, blah, blah. We got that started. Prior to the partnership, Hilton launched his previous car wrapping, painting, tinting company, Wrap-A-Lot, this past spring. Damn, he's been busy. That's good. Hey, yo, I love to see it. And that's actually not a bad job. I love to see it. I told her the cameras and all the fame and everything could stop tomorrow and nothing's changing between us, Hilton told Today. To answer the question, yes, Thanksgiving year 7 is planned out. See you guys Thursday. He captioned a photo of them both standing in front of Cheesecake Factory. She don't look like a grandma. She living her best. Like, yo, clap it. I love this shit. We love to see it. Drop a bomb. We love to see it. We love to see it. Matching tattoos is next. Okay. They living their best life. Go off. I don't know. There's nothing. It's just happiness. I'm happy to see it. I love a good story. But of course, we got to end with the fucking police. What was I thinking in this order structure? 90s people who were old in the 90s and are still old now so badly want to see their childhood relived. They so badly want to see RoboCop and all these motherfuckers come back. Stop it. All right. Do I even want to cover this story? I guess I should cover it. Come on. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to cover this story because I had such a great podcast today. Great stories. And then I got to end off with these dumbasses from San Francisco. Let's just get into it. NPR reports. Oh, hi, my name's Heero. This is Identity Booth. Like, share, and subscribe. Get slapped up. San Francisco considers allowing law enforcement robots to use lethal force. Oh, but California is so liberal. You sound dumb when you say shit like that. Should robots working along law enforcement be used to deploy deadly force? San Francisco Board of Supervisors is weighing the question to this week. to this week as they consider a policy proposal that would allow San Francisco Police Department, SFPD, to use robots as deadly force against a suspect. A new California law became effective this year that requires every municipality. I always mess this word up. Hold on. I have the technology for this. Hold on. I always mess this word up. This is why I read out loud.
Municipality
in the state to list and define the authorized uses of all military grade equipment in their local law enforcement. So military grade equipment in local law enforcement. How wild is that? The original draft SFPD policy was silent on the matter of robots. Aaron Peskin, a member of the city board of supervisors, added a line to SFPD original draft policy that stated robots shall not be used as a use of force against any person. SFPD crossed out the sentence with a red line and returned the draft. Their altered proposal outlined that the robot will only be used as deadly force option when risk of loss of life to a member of the public or officers are imminent and outweigh any other force option available to SFPD. Now, you're probably sitting here wondering, why is this a thing? How is this thing? Well, this is what happens when our police budgets balloon out of fucking control. When every little thing scares police officers and they scream, we need more funding, we need more funding. And the little schools, homeless people, and we can't get any security or any protection or even free lunch for our kids at schools, in public schools. Can't get no free health care. But we got money for RoboCops. And all these things are going to be used to do is harass homeless people. And could you imagine this shit during like a protest on par with George Floyd? Oh, this crowd looks rowdy. I'm going to deploy lethal force to disperse one or two people who look threatening to me. When a police can say a kid eating a cheeseburger in his car is threatening, when a 13-year-old sitting outside on a playground is threatening, how can we trust the police to ever know what justified is? Why are we giving them this power? But there's the robotics companies who built this shit and said, hey, we don't want you guys to use this. But y'all didn't put that in the contract that if they use this for force, they can implement the kill switch on your devices. You still sold them. It's mindless. But you're probably thinking, come on, Heero. With good reason. They'll only use it with good reason. That's what we can assume. That's what we can assume. Because we've actually seen this actually taking place. Back in 2016, I believe. Misha Xavier Johnson, the Dallas shooter, was an Army veteran. This soldier, veteran, killed 5 or 6 police officers in Dallas in a rampage back in 2015 after a Black Lives Matter protest, and he tactically took the Dallas Police Department apart single-handedly using echolocation, displaying snipers, displaying light globes, picking people off from distance, changing locations. He was adequate. He was more than prepared. And he did this as a response to all the killings that were taking place back in 2015. And his only regret was that he was affiliated with the Black Lives Matter movement, which he regretted, and the Black Lives Matter movement didn't accept him when he came to preach his rhetoric. But once Misha Xavier Johnson was cornered, he was still being able to suppress the police fire. And basically what they did was send a robot bomb to blow him up. Now, Do I think that was justified? No, because I've seen them take white people who have killed way more people. Maybe if you talk to him, I don't know. Like, I just don't think the state has the right to kill people when the state doesn't understand, when the state is literally killing innocent people constantly. Like, the state just can't be given that right. If you can't apprehend them without lethal force, then you need more training. How about spend less money on making RoboCop and more money on your training? But once again, it's not really training, because you can't train people how to be authoritarian when that is what you are looking for. Authoritarian people. You're looking for the low lives of our community who couldn't excel past anything other than being a glorified bully. Those people don't strike me as cool people. And once again, introduce me to a cool cop or a good cop. I would love to see one. But the one good cop I knew, he literally stopped being a cop because he was like, oh, this is why good cops don't stay here, because they have to become bad. So I'll take that to my grave. Misha Xavier Johnson was one of the first people that this tactic was used on in a public eye. So it's not hard to believe. I do foresee that San Francisco bill being passed. Hopefully I'll get an update on that. And, it's just a matter of time from that point to seeing when it will be used. But, that's the story. That's my feelings on it. Let me know what you guys think. We made it to the end. We love it. We love to see it. All right, we gotta edit some videos. What time? It's 8 o'clock. Ooh, we got good time. Good time. All right. I love y'all faces. Y'all take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys.